Special black.
There we go.
Are we on live?
We are.
Who's there? Is there people there?
No, we're in
Literally
a cave. The internet doesn't exist.
We just started. Yes.
You guys.
Is there
hi.
anyone there?
Yes.
Oh, one
Who's that?
human.
They are
Hi.
There's
on.
a person.
Yes.
That's a person. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look at see Jeremy
Lord.
Jackson how it works. Okay. Hi everybody.
We're back to our standard of.
We're gonna look like
Who's
that.
going to manage
Starting
all
already.
that over there?
Terrence is
We're
smart.
gonna both.
Okay, we only have 30 minutes. This is our first official studio chat of fall 2018. Hi, everyone. It's so good to have you join us. We have an incredible guest today.
Yeah.
Terrence.
It's Terrence.
Okay, first we introduce. Oh gosh, first we introduce us to lab rats. And then we'll introduce our main guest. Okay, the first person who's amazing is Terrence Johnson. He's our social media
Terrence
coordinator.
Johnson.
And we don't know how to work the internet without Terrence.
Nope.
I am Katie Northlick.
Yay, Katie.
I'm a development specialist here at Studio, and I'm on the acting faculty, and I'm just amazing.
Yeah,
And then,
valid point.
so guys, we always have a special guest here to answer questions. So you have 30 minutes to ask our guest here any questions about his life, about studio school. We have the incomparable, the amazing chair of our BFA acting. That's physical comedy.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Chair of our acting program, Jeremy Kent Jackson.
Yay, that's
Yay.
me.
You guys,
Yeah.
he's amazing, and I feel very special. So, we're gonna ask Jeremy a few. Oh my gosh, we're getting likes, we're getting hearts.
What the heck? What is that?
Yeah.
Is that like
These
people-
are your Lab Rats fans.
Oh,
Yeah, those
man.
are those are
So
our fans.
those who are fans of Jeremy,
Hearts back. That's how I feel right there.
that's
Yeah.
our version of
Yeah, it's like
electronic.
a-
Yeah, we've got lots of waves.
Hi. So guys, we're gonna jump right in. We always talk to our guests here. We're very busy. We're here in the middle of the school day right now. Jeremy has to go have meetings and all of that stuff. And so we have him for 30 minutes. We're gonna ask him about his career, his life for a second. And please ask any questions you want to Jeremy about the acting industry while you have him for 30 minutes, or about our program in general. So, Jeremy Kent Jackson.
Hey.
Can you please tell us, we're so lucky to have you here as the chair of our BFA program. You have already made, incredible, there's such incredible things happening on campus because you're here. So we would like to ask you, first of all, how did you get started in acting and sort of go from there to
We're going
Los
all the
Angeles?
way back.
Yes.
We're going all the way back,
All the way back?
Yes, take us back to the
into
beginning.
some of your credits now that are pretty impressive and
All
amazing.
right. Well, I got started in acting because a high school teacher was sick of me doing stupid voices
Makes
in
sense.
in our English class. Actually, the truth is, we were doing an assignment that we were supposed to do a scene from Julius Caesar with a group of people.
Oh, cool.
And none of my partners showed up. And so she was like, well, we could just kick it to like tomorrow. And I was like, or I could just do all the characters today.
No way.
And so I did all the characters, and I did stupid voices and all this stuff. I made use of all the,
Were you scared to do that?
no, because I thought I was just being a smart aleck. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't truly with good intentions.
Totally.
It was just
You were
for
like,
attention.
I'm just gonna do
Yeah, it was for attention.
attention.
Yeah.
And then she forced me to audition for the play, which I did not want to do because that would require like work, and that made me nervous, like a lot.
Right.
And she actually called my mom and asked if she could force me to do that.
No
my mom
way.
said, please do, because
Yeah.
it's aimless and has no purpose. And then I auditioned for the play, and I got cast. As
And how old were you?
I
This
was
what year in high
was
school?
a junior in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, so I came to it a little
Wow.
bit late, for
Well-
some people, but early for others, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Correct.
Because like Wilford Brimley started when he was like 70 or something. But anyway,
That's cuckoo
enough
for Cocoa
about
Puffs.
Wilford Brimley.
That's the only
no.
Wilford Brimley.
Yeah, that's gonna
We might
be
reference
something
it again.
I've had
We
on
might
this
reference.
Yeah, so that's how it began. And then I took the stage and I was like, I'm home. Like,
Really?
It was like that fast.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then my drama teacher said to me that I could major in it in college, and I was like, really? You can do that? Why would anybody do that? And then I took that home to my folks, and they were like, great, do that. And they were super excited that I wanted to do
And
something.
they were very supportive.
Very supportive. I
Wow.
was really, really gifted with a lot of support there.
Wow.
And then I've just been chasing it ever since because I love it.
So, did you go to get your degree? Did we have a question?
You got a question about lab rats.
Oh,
but
lab
we're
rats.
definitely going to
We'll
get to
get
lab
there.
We'll
rats.
get to your
Yeah.
lab rats
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
Everybody, chill out.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Did you? So of course, Jeremy, of course, heads up our acting program here and
Yeah.
our acting majors in film and television and in the acting program here in Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles. So. you went and got your degree in acting?
I did. Yeah, I have a BFA in acting, in theater, focus in acting.
Okay.
My program was rooted in the theater.
Where did you study?
I studied at the University of Oklahoma, of all places.
Oh, wow.
Which was
Dust Bowl.
That's right. It was the 20th place I looked at out of 20 places I looked
literally?
at.
Wow.
I was like, why would I go to Oklahoma to study acting? I was really resistant, like
so
I was with a lot of things in my youth. And,
Like I am with paying my
and
bills.
then I went, yes, exactly. Not bad. That's not a bad way to be. It is a
Comedy.
terrible way to be doing it. And I went down there and just kind of, again, felt like I was home. And it was kind of like a really interesting
Wow.
blend of people down there and
Wow.
a cool place to study theater. So I was happy with my degree.
Did your
And
4-year
Did my
BFA
4-year
program.
BFA program, and
Yeah.
then I promptly graduated and went off and worked at a sketch comedy theater in Columbus, Ohio.
And why did you do that?
I auditioned for it. I auditioned for a bunch of companies, and I was drawn to this place because it was in a like a brick warehouse in downtown Columbus, and there was rock and roll and sketch comedy, and I always wanted to be on Saturday Night Live. So I thought
course,
it was
'cause-
sort of like small town Saturday Night Live. So I did that, and then I ended up joining a Shakespeare company instead there, which was weird. Not at all rock and roll.
No,
sketch
that's
comedy.
the most opposite from,
Yeah.
from the sketch cool kids.
That's it. Then I bounced up to Minneapolis, and I worked for an improv theater there and did a whole bunch of different theater, and that's when I started doing my on-camera work. I was the in-house spokesperson for Best Buy
Wow.
for quite a while.
Noise.
Yeah, I trained people to downstock, like at that time, CD players and such.
Wow.
It was great.
Did that give you the experience you then needed to do your Burger King?
Yes.
Your famous,
It
very
led-
famous. I did not even realize that was you.
Yeah, it led to my iconic. I kind of
Yes.
think of it like an iconic
You're
role.
iconic.
My first iconic role as Tiny Hands, the Burger King Tiny
Yes.
Hands guy, which I have very actually large hands.
You do.
For the
Yeah.
record.
So it
I'm
was a
small
lie.
guy, but
It was a lie.
look at Terrence. Put your hand up.
Yeah.
Look, like that's at least a regular size.
Yeah,
hand.
it really
I got the
is,
boys
yeah.
competing
Can
already.
I see
guys.
your
It's
hand?
just so mine's
Yeah, you have
delicate.
regular
and
size
you
hands.
kinda
You
have-
Mine's delicate like a dancer.
No, you actually have like stagecraft
My
hands. Look at
father
those
loves
things.
them. Hi,
Yeah.
Dad.
Hey,
Hi,
what's
Bill.
up?
Hi, Bill.
Katie's
Yeah.
dad. Is your dad on Instagram?
No, he's far away from a computer. Social
be
media.
weird.
So guys, so that's amazing. So through that, would you say, like, now looking back, did you have your sights set on Los Angeles, on film and TV, through all of your, like, Shakespeare and your comedy?
No.
No.
I actually never wanted to move to Los Angeles.
You didn't?
No, never. I was from a small town in Colorado originally.
Yeah.
So
Ooh,
the big
yeah.
city of Los Angeles kind of freaked me out. I had seen
Yeah.
the film Colors
Sure.
growing up, and it scared the hell out of me. I was like, "That's LA. That's tough. That's a tough a place."
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And so no, I never wanted to come here. I went to New York briefly, and I didn't like that. And LA kind of pulled me here really because
did?
I ended up doing a few films up in Minneapolis and got my Screen Actors Guild card up there, and at that point it was pretty clear that I needed to make the jump to the bigger market, and I came out here and actually, like a lot of things, I was like, oh, this place is pretty nice. Like,
Yeah.
the weather's great.
Nothing
There's
wrong
palm
with
trees
sunshine.
out your window. I got parrots in my tree now.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Oh, wow.
cool. It's
a
really
secret to
cool
his
place.
genius.
Fanciness.
So this is we've had a couple of questions, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. By the way, again, we're here
Yeah,
with Jeremy.
really.
Jeremy. He takes everything really seriously. He's no fun. We have we we all turned.
Yeah, this is our
But I
our
love it
secret
because
thing
it's
of,
so like accessible and like for the
'Cause-
people. So we have a few questions here, guys. Again, send your questions now to Jeremy Ken Jackson. We have him for the next like 22 minutes at this point. He's our BFA chair of our acting program. He's an incredible actor. Works all the time in LA. Amazing credits. You might know him from Lab Rats. Ever heard of it?
Yeah.
Little Show on Disney. This is really interesting. The opportunities you just talked about. So Jeremy was talking about, doing Shakespeare and doing sketch comedy. He has his BFA in theater probably then.
That's right.
That's mine
Yep.
too.
That's
and
right.
so how did those lead, would you say, add up to then you being skilled and good on camera? So
Yeah.
like, how did it all sort of connect the dots for you as an actor? If you can trace from like your days of doing plays in college till you being on set at Disney. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Oh God, such a heavy question. It collapsed our
Sorry,
infrastructure.
I'm very smart and cerebral.
You know what? To me, acting is acting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I had a really great, I really have to give a shout out to all my professors at the University of Oklahoma because, and even my high school teacher, she was like somebody who set a really high bar and expected us to be professionals in terms of our work ethic and how we approached the craft of acting.
Absolutely.
And so that was my kind of first imprint. I think it's really important to have that. And then I was met with a similar vibe at the University of Oklahoma. And so I think having a really strong foundation that encourages you to, embrace your art form with a seriousness in terms of your approach. I think and provides you a lot of opportunity to work. And that's the other thing that I think I got in my education was they kept me busy. Like I was constantly working, a lot of opportunities, right?
Wow.
You'd come up with ideas, they'd say yes to them. You go to auditions, they'd create more of them for you. So they kept me busy, and then when I spun off of college, that's exactly what happened. I was still spinning and my legs were moving, and I just had the energy to chase that career, which you really have to have in order to make a career. You have to have energy to chase it, So.
This is really interesting. That's actually really interesting.
This question.
Actually, this is great timing for it. So Jeremy, guys, just talked about sort of the doing the work, work, and that makes you beget more work, and work ethic, I think, right? And confidence, and maybe, the self-esteem to do it. Yeah. What a lovely question, and sort of the combo meal of you running an acting program for students. Somebody is wondering, their parents have an idea for their lives, and have them, and this person is saying, I have a dream and a goal, and my heart wants to act, and how do I reconcile having that conversation maybe with your folks?
Such a great question.
Yeah.
So here's what I tell all of my students, and I teach a lot. And by the way, I hate the phrase those who can't do teach.
Oh, I hate it too.
The craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Acting by trade is a generous. It's a generous. Art form, really. You have to have your scene partner. You have to engage, and so teaching is really an extension of that in my book. So that said, I teach a lot of students, and I come across this question a lot because there are a lot of parents who simply don't understand the realities of a creative life, and the reality is there's literally millions of people. I think that the stat is somewhere around 3 million people plus who are making a living in a creative, artistic field right now in the United States. So there is money to be made and there are careers to be had.
Wow.
And for me, when people tell me that as a teacher, they're like, I don't want my student to become an actor, my son or daughter. I'm like, but you're telling me, and I've crafted a whole career out of it, a very nice career, and I have a house and a family and all those things that people want. And you can do it, and you have to acknowledge your passion as the fuel in your gas tank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if you don't say yes to that, you're going to stand still, and you're not going to succeed at anything.
Wow.
But if you pay attention to what moves you, literally and sort of metaphorically, which I think for me was, chasing that acting career kept me moving. And along the way, I've discovered so many other things I like to do: teaching, producing, directing, designing, building sets. All that stuff is part of my career. And so I've ended up with a really multifaceted creative life, I would say, and acting is one part of it.
I love that you talked about
Can you talk about one particular career stop?
Yes.
Before you knock the whole camera over. This is our first go round this year, so we're rusty tech wise.
Yeah, we need like a stand, a little.
I'm not responsible for any of the tech. I'm just responsible
questions.
for being charming.
Do
you ever try career in anything else? Was this the one thing? Love and pageant. Was this the only? Let's ask this, and then we'll go to that. So, was this the only thing you ever saw yourself doing? It's a great question.
No, but early on I wanted to be like an artist, like a fine artist, like a visual artist or an architect or something like that. I used to design cars as a kid. I thought maybe I'd become like an automotive engineer or something. But truthfully, I never had anything that fueled my tank, so to speak, until this. When I walked on that stage, I was like, yep. This is it for me. And I think that's why my parents responded the way they did, because they saw me kind of like kind of searching. We all go through that search, and sometimes it takes us till we're 35 or 50, and sometimes it takes us till we're 5. And for me, it happened around 17, 18 years old. I went, boom, that's my path.
This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting point too. I think a lot of artists, there's sort of a perception. We're all multidimensional people and have multidimensional. Jeremy's talking about producing, directing, educate, and so as opposed to acting is the only thing, and I will jump up. It's more like your multidimensionality makes you interesting.
Yeah,
and yet what drives him is the act. Of course, passion.
Yeah, anytime I land on set, it's very clear what I love to do most of all.
Yeah.
That's a true fact. Whenever I arrive on set, I feel like an energy. It's like a super healthy high. No doubt about it.
That's so great.
And acting requires you to be present.
Sure.
And the work of acting makes me, I think, feel as present as I ever am. Wow. So whenever I book a job or create a piece of content that I'm engaging as an actor in, I feel like I've again come home. That's kind of our theme, I guess. But I've come home. But in the meantime, I got to venture out. And do some other things so that when I come home, I bring some stories with me. You know what I mean? So
That's right.
I honestly don't know any actors, this one included right here. Are you an actor, Terrence?
No.
Terrence is a writer. He's a writer.
Director, right?
Yeah.
And I was in his web series.
There you go.
And it was amazing, and I did so well.
Would you guys like me being in Terrence's next web series?
Yeah, if I get the
Oh my God!
Did you see me just network?
Honestly, I absolutely could see you in this world.
All right.
We might have to make that happen.
Let's make
Oh my gosh,
it happen.
Troy Metcalf. Hi, Troy.
Hi, Troy.
Troy, we love you. So let's ask per. Do you guys like our heads sideways?
Yeah,
trying to fit in.
Out of their head. Okay, so we'll come back to those. Let's go to this. Let's do a swerve. So everybody, a lot of people know Jeremy from a certain role and credit he had. Troy, hi. Troy's clapping.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because
Troy
Metcalf.
put the things right there. Troy, you're so modern.
Do something else so Jeremy learns. Like make an emoji or something.
Can you do like
Jeremy
a ghost?
Jackson.
Can you make it like
a ghost
is that a thing?
in honor of Halloween
Oh
Troy.
my gosh.
Troy's one of our teachers. He's incredible.
Troy's one of our best and brightest.
Yeah. Brighter than I am, and I'm pretty bright. Troy Metcalf, he did an emoji.
Look. Oh no!
Thanks, Troy. Troy.
That's not a ghost.
Troy. Okay, so lab rats.
Lab rats.
Now we're talking about Jeremy's career. We're talking about Jeremy's career. We're talking about Jeremy's sort of ascension from theater and sketch and comedy and his work ethic and being driven really by the work on stage to Los Angeles, right? City of Angels. We've got film and TV everywhere you look. The palm trees, all the sort of prototypical things that are true.
Yeah, they're true.
So a lot of film and TV around. So how did you, I would say, get that job and what would you say? How is it did it change your career? Were you aware when it was changing your career? And what is that like? I'm sure a lot of people want to know.
Man, that question kind of gives me goosebumps because it really did change my career in such a good way. Yeah.
Wow.
That opportunity arrived. I always joke with people when they're like, tell me about your career. I'm like, I'm the guy who took every step there is to take in the business. I hope there's a few more too, because I didn't just jump to something. I had to do like the 1-line co-star, the 2-line co-star, the 5-line co-star, and then the 1-day guest star and the 1-week guest star.
Paying your dues, people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I climbed, you know what I mean? And I didn't have a dad who was a producer, unfortunately. He worked at State Farm Insurance.
Holler.
Yeah. State Farm. Whatever.
Yeah,
I was a long way from home when I came to LA, and I didn't really know anybody, and I had to really piece it together and kind of like harken back to my education. And I had a professor said, do one thing every day for your career.
That's
just
beautiful.
do one thing.
I love that.
Do an audition. Write a note to somebody.
I
just
love that.
do one thing every day. So I did that, and I religiously did that every day, and so I cobbled together a few jobs and started to climb that ladder a little bit, and I was presented with an audition for what was supposed to be I think it was supposed to be like a 2 to 3 episode arc on the show Lab Rats, which was just a year old at that time. And it was a really important role. And I knew this because they were auditioning about 2 months ahead of time, which never happens in TV.
Sure.
So they had anticipated a long and lengthy audition process, and they were making offers to celebrities and stuff for this because it was like this central bad guy character. And I was, I think, the second person to go in, and I did one audition for producers. They were in the room on the initial audition. I still don't really know why.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Usually you do like a pre-read where you've got a casting director and a camera, and then they submit that to the producers, and then you'll get a call back, and then you'll have a room full of people there, the executive producers, the writers, the director. But they were all in there on my initial, probably because I had booked a lot of jobs on my way to that audition. So this would be kind of a straight to producers audition. So I went in there, and I remember hearing some other actors in the lobby actually talking about how these Disney shows and it might be beneath them and this and that, and I just thought to myself, good, I'll take it.
How long was that show on the air?
It was on for 5 seasons, including our spin-off season, and I was on for 4 of the 5 seasons.
That's
so my
amazing.
3 episodes ended up being 33 episodes in 4 years. So it was pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And Lab Rats was, I think the thing that surprised me most about it, because I'd been doing, a week here, a couple weeks there, cobbling together my career, a lot of commercials, which are one-day shoots, Tiny Hands, we did 4 or 5 of them or whatever, just Pizza, we did a bunch of them. But this job, it was like a family, It was like the security guard at the studio would, give me the salute as I drove in, and had my parking space, my dressing room, and for me, just like my whole career, that process was gradual because I came on as a guest star.
That's right.
And then it wasn't. I think it was 2 years in, and I'd shot like 20 episodes or something.
Jeez,
and I finally was like talking to my family. I'm like, I think I'm like on this show. And they were like, yeah, you're on
That's
the
such
show.
a showbiz thing to say.
I literally would get every script and look to see if I was dead at the end.
Did they take my character? They would kill my character.
Which, oddly enough, as you guys know, the final episode of the spinoff, I ended up getting exploded against the wall, and it was lying on the ground. We were anticipating being picked up for another season, and then I think Disney did a thing, because they're doing this like online content thing, so they pulled a lot of the shows. So that's how the whole series ended. And I know a lot of you guys have texted me through Instagram and other places like, what the heck happened to Douglas?
Is there gonna be another Lab Rat?
Gosh, I wish, you guys.
Let's make it happen. Let's do it.
Yes,
you gotta do it.
Because tell me, because I wasn't familiar. So is the character, we don't know what happened, or like the character did die in an explosion?
No, I mean, the truth is it's Disney, so nobody really dies that much.
During the run,
right? I did get frozen in a block of ice early on, but I wasn't dead.
Who hasn't? I mean, it's life.
Well, I think it's pretty cool that like an opportunity for like all of you aspiring people out there to hear that like you were in this audition room for like a job, because acting is your passion in your life, but it is also your work, and there were people there who were like, like this is beneath me, and like you now have like, you have a significant chunk of episodes and a great following now from that show. So don't think something is beneath you.
And can you speak to that really quick? I think because you understand how you perceive maybe show business when you are 20 or 21, and then you perceive show business differently once you've been in it, and certainly hearing people say something like that right before you're about to go in the room. What is your perspective now, and what would you tell students and people that want to do this or are scared or do believe in themselves but haven't left, haven't come to LA, or about that mentality of being an actor and sort of the stick-to-itiveness and the resilience and the fact that someone is saying a job is in the audition studio that it's
going back to that earlier question too about even what your folks might tell you is that this is a life filled with rejection.
Yeah.
The reality is it's not. It's not. It's a collective. It's a collaborative sort of collective. A production is a collective of people that have all been selected to be a part of that circle.
Ooh.
And that's the truth of it. And when you're invited to audition, they're just inviting you to be a part of their circle for a moment to see if you fit within that pie, so to speak. And so if they don't pick you, it's not a rejection. It's just them going, you know what, you're not the right piece of pie for this sort of recipe, right? But there's going to be a recipe for you somewhere where you're the perfect ingredient.
Oof.
So to me, it's not about rejection. It never is. And so as I always tell my students, I'm like, your 5 minutes you have in that audition room, that's a 5-minute performance that somebody gifted you with, right? It's an opportunity to go in, engage in your craft that you're passionate about, play a character, honor a story, honor somebody's writing, lift it, embody it, and then walk out the room because you did what you came to do.
That's amazing. That's
How
amazing.
many years before were you acting before you got Lab Rats?
Or your first
first gig. Sorry.
My first gig.
Let's say gig maybe as a
like TV gig.
Yeah, let's say that. How many years before your
Well,
first
I did a lot of like
co-star?
commercials and like industrial films and things like that in Minneapolis. I booked my first feature film in Minneapolis.
Oh, wow.
That I promptly got cut out of. This was actually directed by one of the greatest directors of all time, David Lynch.
No.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
It was
OMG.
my first movie ever. I got to go down to Iowa. They flew
How
me to
fun.
Iowa for a week, and I worked with Richard Farnsworth, who is this
Oh my god.
Oscar-nominated actor,
Yeah.
incredible guy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible. And I spent a week and I shot all these scenes, and I called my mom and told her I was going to go to Cannes Film Festival because that's where the film went. And then David Lynch actually phoned me and sent me a VHS copy of my scene and just deeply apologized for cutting me out of the film because it was too long, which I've now learned that no director ever does that. So that was an incredible thing that he did. A very class move. David Lynch, love you so much.
Yeah.
And that was my first film, and that's how I got my Screen Actors Guild card. And then I moved out to LA, and like the first couple weeks I booked like a one-line role on ER.
Nice.
And then I didn't book anything for like 2 years.
Which that's the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I was like, oh, this town's easy.
Yeah, you're like acting is crazy.
Yeah, like I dropped in.
I'm here.
I'm exercising.
Yeah.
I'm tan. Everything's great. Booked me some ER.
Yeah.
Crickets.
and that's such a reality.
Yeah.
Which we'll go to our so we have about I would say five or so.
Sure.
Are you good on with 5 minutes?
Yeah,
10 minutes?
I think I can extend 5 minutes.
5 minutes, 10 minutes max.
Yeah.
Okay,
Max.
so that going to the doubts, etc. So let's really quickly go to then just what we're doing here at Studio and sort of combining you with that. So you're here. You're leading the charge. So Studio School, as you guys may or may not know out there, we do have our 4 degrees in film and performing arts, and one of our fabulous programs is our acting for film and television program for our BFA degree. And Jeremy, of course, is our chair, our program chair.
Kind of recently too.
Recently,
Yeah, so about 3-4 months ago, I joined.
You guys-
joined as chair.
he's a newbie.
kind of new, super scared.
I make fun of him all the time.
Yep, she does.
Whenever he asks where the bathroom
Scared
is,
about
I
what?
tell
Or
I
something.
point him in the
Yeah.
garage.
Yep. It's
Because
not funny.
it's because you have to haze. So and guys, thank you so much for all your questions and for tuning in again here with Jeremy Kent Jackson. We've got so many amazing questions, which we could answer all of them, but he's a busy guy. So really, I would say, how do you? Somebody has asked along the way, how do you get into our school? Like, how do you get into our school? Which is a very broad question, but what is your sort of mission here at Studio, and what would you say is sort of the deal? Like, we're looking for actors who, and our goals are, especially based on your experience.
Yeah, I think what drew me to Studio School, I was teaching here as adjunct faculty for the last year, and then came on as chair, like I said, 3 or 4 months ago, and I was super excited by the possibility of leading the program because my predecessor, who is an incredible individual as well, Krista Flanagan, she had really designed an amazing curriculum that I think is a curriculum that in many ways I wish I had because it it not only teaches you to become an incredible artist and actor, but it teaches you how to now take those skills and turn them into a career. And I had to learn a lot of that, all due respect to my program, which was also great. I feel like I had to learn this sort of, how do I make a career out of it on the job, so to speak.
That's
so
right.
I when I first walked on a set, I didn't know what a mark was or what coverage was or any of those things.
For sure.
So this school, being here in Los Angeles, I'm looking out at our view of downtown Los Angeles here.
Yeah.
We're at a working, movie studio. We've got access to equipment and locations and all kinds of cool stuff. We got professionals working right next door to us. I actually shot one of my first guest stars in one of our classrooms.
That's crazy.
For CSI Miami a long time ago.
That's so weird.
It's so weird.
Full circle.
So there's just so many resources here, and our faculty are so plugged into the industry that our students graduate, I think, with fewer questions than I did in terms of how to cobble together a career and what that might look like.
Yeah.
So studio school is a really special place.
It is.
And I'm excited to be, helping to give it shape moving into the future.
I think, it's funny. By the way, Breon Davis just tuned in and he said, Jeremy, your hair is awesome.
Oh, thanks, Breon. I really
So,
appreciate
Breon,
it.
Just
love
his,
you.
not the other two people.
Breon, what about my hair?
This guy,
What about my
and
hair?
look at this.
Breon Davis.
This is kind of like #hair event. Right
You guys,
now.
I had a
This isn't
callback
bad.
this morning, so admittedly, my spray is messing up my flow. Hi, Breon, we love you. Breon is one of our teachers.
Yep, he's rad too.
So he's toast rad. So do you think, it's so funny that you say that. I think our students are having that leg up. I talked to one of our alumni who was talking about how she's hyper aware that she is a business person.
Yes.
And I think that that's something that we must learn quick and fast, sooner hopefully than later.
Yeah, I don't think it was until I arrived in Los Angeles, which was a good, 5-6 years after I graduated college, that I began to think of myself as a brand, as the the instrument that I'm marketing.
That's right.
And ultimately that is the truth. And what I always say to students, it's not like you're putting something on; it's you're discovering what's inside already. Like what you're selling out there to the world on television and films is your most authentic self. Like, that's the most interesting thing about you. And so then how do you package it? How do you present it? How do you find material that unearths it and shows it off to the world in a way that helps you cobble together a career? In studio school, we work really hard to help you discover that and then help you give it shape and position it to meet the market.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, and it's one of those ways, I know a lot of sort of when we have questions about our acting for film and television, kids are also interested in theater and, being able to, still use some of their stage training.
Yeah.
And I know that we actually are putting on we have a season, like a full season's worth of plays and musicals that we're doing. So one of them is coming up. So
I'm super proud of that.
Yeah.
That was one of the first
Yes.
things that I did when I came in, because going all the way back to the beginning of this conversation, how what do I credit with having a 25-year career now? It's theater, because nothing teaches you how to take care of yourself more than theater. The process of going, playing a big role through a whole process that lasts more than a day, it lasts a few months.
Yeah.
So our students engage in a full sort of themed out season. We got 8 shows. There's theater shows. We feature our dancers, our filmmakers are involved, our musical theater majors. So everybody comes together around our what we call our public-facing live season of shows. You can buy tickets at studioschool.edu box office now, which is really cool. We got Suicide Incorporated coming up, which is a really dark sort of comedy that explores the effects of suicide on a person, a real serious topic told through a sort of comedic lens.
That's right.
It's really interesting. Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
And when is that?
That comes up, I believe it opens September 27th,
Yeah.
I think. September
Yeah.
27th.
Yeah, and we've had the conversation, Jeremy and I,
Or
about
28th.
how...
27th? 28th, I don't know. One of
I
those
don't know.
two.
I mean,
Look
I
it
just
up
have
online.
hairspray on. I don't
next
know.
week.
That's right. Next week.
Sometime next
Thanks,
week.
Terrence.
Yeah.
And I love that you talk about how just sort of the theater keeping you guys busy, right? So keeping our students the overwhelm in a good way of plays, workshops, shows, on stage, creating your own work, creating your own content. This is massively important as a student here at Studio School, and you have a big hand in that. and because it's so important to you, because that's what you went through.
Yeah, my job here really is to, I went through the whole curriculum, every class just recently, and went, where are places within our classes where we can provide the students some opportunity to pitch their ideas and produce it, so that they walk out of here with some material, some showcase material, really some real material that they can show off to agents and managers and potential casting directors, etc. Most importantly, opportunities for them to engage in the process through which they learn. So our dean of academics often says, this place is more studio, less school, and so that's our aim here. And so my job is really fun because I get to look at the school part of it and go, how can I make this feel more like a studio, a place where we unearth our ideas, give them shape, put them up on their feet, and shoot them, or put them on stage, whichever you want to do. I mostly spend all day listening to students pitch me ideas,
which is
stress out about how to make it happen.
Well, we're wrapping up here, guys, because we have to go. We have time for one more. Well, somebody did ask. We've got some amazing ones for you. Somebody they want to know just in general, how do you qualify / get into Studio School's BFA acting program, and then we'll sort of leave it on last sort of words from you, last advice. But so for those of you who are interested in our programming, and again, I see a couple of questions here about writing. Do writing majors, get to write plays that the school performs?
Yes,
we are totes. We are quite cross-pollinatory.
Well, that's not a thing. But we're not a science school, so it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Whatever. I'm charming.
Great scientists on TV, though.
It's fake. We cross-pollinate in our 4 majors quite frequently, literally like every day. So can you speak to the overall umbrella of when we're looking for students and how you do qualify for Studio School here in Los Angeles?
You got to be somebody who is aggressive in nature, in terms of you got to understand what you want. I tell people all the time, if you want to come to Studio School, the right Studio School student is somebody who does know what they want to do now. This isn't a place necessarily for broad exploration, like, I think I'll try this and then I'll try a little of that. Certainly within our majors you can do some exploring, and we encourage that, but we're here to train artists who want to be professional artists down the road.
That's right.
And so those are the people we're looking for. And for me, what that means is grades are important. How you're doing in high school, that tells us a lot about how you're going to do here. You're going to submit an audition tape, couple of
Portfolio.
things that you can talk to our admissions department about, and then I'm going to take a look at it along with some other people on our faculty, and we're going to score your audition and invite you here if it seems like you're somebody who is down the road far enough to sort of meet our stream.
Yeah. And so we, the bar is high, but I think what he said in the very beginning, the aggressiveness at which you're already sort of just quite naturally passionate, guys, right? You can't fake who you are. And so I think everybody could probably, when I was 15, you could tell she'll probably perform forever. You know what I mean? I couldn't shut up. I was always trying to make you laugh, and et cetera. And that's such a huge part of my authenticity, because I want to. I can't stop trying to make you,
and there's an awful lot more to performing too. You gotta want to perform, yes, and you also have to want to know how you're going to turn that into a livelihood, and that means people come with a sense of organization and discipline and focus, and all of those things are really, really important for you. And so if you've got all that stuff going on, or at least in part, we're here to help you, cultivate it further. But if you've got some of that stuff going on, reach out to us. I'm going to be in Virginia actually at the I think it's like the Virginia Thespian Festival.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm going to see some of these high school kids audition. That's going to be fun. I'm going to be in Denver later on, which is close to my hometown, so that'll be cool.
So he's doing like a tour, you guys.
I'm going to do a tour.
Jeremy Ken Jackson on tour.
But I'm excited. I'm going to be excited to sit on the other side of the table and watch some of you guys do your work, and come out and see me, man. I'd love to watch you work.
Aww. Well, guys, we're so lucky to have Jeremy, because he's quite important and amazing. And in terms of where you apply, guys, you just go to studioschool.edu. You click on academics, peruse what we offer, and then whatever you're interested in, acting, filmmaking, you click it, and it tells you how to get to us. Last looks, last words. That was that was a term.
Yeah.
That is a term.
Set.
Yeah, it's a term from set. It means the makeup person comes over and makes you look super. I always liked last looks, because they come over and they make sure my hair looks good, which is really important to me. Does it look okay? Is it? Is it? I mean, I don't know.
Next question.
It's fine.
Anyway.
Final question.
Brianne made fun of it first.
It's my brand.
Oh, Brianne complimented.
Yeah.
So last thing, because this sort of falls in line, we had a few, how do you form connections, fear of failure, what keeps you motivated, do you have a role model? So I would say maybe just last sort of for wherever you are in your acting journey.
Yeah, give us
your little
word to
dealing with doubts, help. What would you say to anybody out there who's like, I want to do it, I'm scared to do it, but I want to do it, but I'm not quite doing it. So what do I do to make myself,
It's your life. So live the life that you imagine. You know what I mean? That's what I would say. Live the life that you imagine. And nobody else is walking in your shoes. Nobody's walking around, from your vantage point. So if you see yourself as an artist, make yourself one. It's going to require work, and it's going to require discipline, and it's going to require determination and focus. And just believe it can happen, but do the work to make it happen.
Oh, that's great.
You guys, let's sing.
Let's sing, man.
Ooh, so we're ending now.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
So, bye. Wait. Before we go, are we still live?
Yes.
Okay, you guys. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you so much for having Jeremy Kent Jackson. He's amazing. He's going to go make dreams come true today. Thank you for tuning in. We hopefully got to some of your questions or part of your questions. We'll have our next studio chat in a month with another guest from our faculty. All of our faculty are working in show business.
You're interviewing other people? I thought this was a meeting.
God, we thought he knew. Help!
Look at all the hearts.
There's so many hearts.
Get them going. Come
Bye,
on.
guys. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Katie and Terrence. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys. Thanks a lot.
Bye from Studio School.